how does this story end? Does he save himself? Is he athletic enough, maybe, to get his boots off and climb out?
I'm asleep and Santa came by because, I don't know, I didn't see any cookies on the table.
Does he climb up and fall back? Does somebody, in fact, chance to pass nearby and hear him? Does he despair? Does he, despairing, pray finally the first true prayer of his life?
That whoever believes in him will not perish.
Is there something I can do for you?
I'm looking for a girl.
Hey, we all!
Because people kept asking me that question, which I really don't like. I don't like that question.
There's a question you hate, and it's, do you believe in God?
Well, people don't know what they mean when they ask that question.
And did he make you attend church regularly?
Oh, well, that was quite natural. Everybody went to church.
The question here is one of causation. Does the brain create a sense that God is real? Or
John 3:16. For God so loved the whole world, everyone, anyone, that the lot of people,
that he gave his one and only Son.
His only Son. That whoever believes in him will not perish, but have eternal life.
In a nutshell, I would be classified as a baby boomer. And probably groups like the Eagles said it best. What they said was, in one of their songs, if you have nothing to believe in, what you do is you take it to the limit one more time.
Meanwhile, the workshop of Santa Claus is buzzing with activity.
Thank you so much. Well, it's wonderful to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, sleeping at last.
Maybe you don't know it as well as you think you might.
Uh-oh. Here it comes. What are you gonna do? Sit me on your knee and tell it to me?
No, I've got a better way.
My parents make me listen to books on tape, and they don't work.
Well, I have something even better. This.
This thing? What is it? Looks like one of those old time machines in the comics.
It's called the Imagination Station. It's one of my latest inventions. Just climb in, press a couple of buttons, use your imagination, and anything can...
Either you believe or not. If you believe, you will be saved. If you don't have salvation.
It's really easy for me to say, I doubt, therefore I don't believe anymore.
Jesus is telling us the same thing. Stop trying to understand everything in your head. Believe everything with your heart.
Checking it twice, gonna find out who's naughty and nice.
It takes no thinking. You just say, I give up. Really what you're saying is, I'm too lazy to do the work, to work through my doubts, to figure out what does the evidence point to as being true.
All right, here's the question of the day. Do you believe in God?
Yes, we are. We do. Why?
If you get hold of two magnets and you push them, you can feel this pushing between them.
Atheists have no faith, wrote Richard Dawkins, and then wrote a book on what he believes.
Oh, you better watch out.
You're saved by faith alone, not a changed life, but that faith always changes the life.
Faith in Christ takes thinking. It takes work. Whereas agnosticism just throws up its hands and says, I don't know. And guess what? I really don't care. That's tragic.
To town.
Looky here. This is an official, authentic, genuine ticket to ride.
Turned it around the other way and they slammed together. Now, what is it, the feeling between those two magnets?
What do you mean, what's the feeling between the two magnets?
There's something there, isn't there?
Yep. Who's missing a syllabus? Anybody else? Books that are listed below, well, they're all separate books. Okay, well, let's just go over that. Okay, are you ready? Yes, anytime. Okay, let's go then.
I thought it would be nice if we started with something quick and easy and simple.
My name is Alex. I am a graduate of philosophy and theology, and I'm a YouTuber.
I want to. I have questions.
Really? Yeah, what an example of the kind of question you might ask God.
Isn't there? I mean, the sensation is that there's something there when you push these two magnets together.
Is by examining the neural correlates of belief, or the specific
A belief system is indeed a system. That's the important part of it.
I'm not sure if I believe in a god. I believe...
In a standard deck of playing cards, there are 4 suits.
There are 100 billion neurons in the brain.
Each suit has 13 cards.
Each making thousands of connections to other cells. There are more connections in a single cubic centimeter of brain tissue than stars in our galaxy.
Oh, when they first hear the record, they're like, what is this? Like...
There are lots of cards stacked on top of each other.
Most people, modern people, believe that a belief is a description of accordance with a set of facts.
Sure.
Right. Well, I don't think that's what belief means in the religious sense in the least.
Listen to my question. What is the meaning when you say that there's a feeling? Of course you feel it. Now, what do you want to know?
What I want to know is what's going on.
They're too stubborn. They're purposefully blinding themselves to the evidence because they don't want it. They're not approaching the arguments honestly with an open heart. Such a person would be what Schellenberg calls a resistant non-believer.
Say one card is taken off to reveal another.
Well, then what does that mean, or why are they doing that?
Ace of Hearts.
I must say, I think that's a perfectly reasonable question.
Of course
to
it's a
ask.
reason. It's an excellent question.
2 of Hearts, 3 of Hearts, 4 of Hearts, 5 of Hearts.
And there's sort of a value regress that goes on.
Always. Aunt Minnie is in a hospital. Why?
Broadly, this comes out in the question of, like, why you're writing an essay to get a good grade, or why do you want a good grade to get a good job? Why do you want a good job?
Why did the husband call up the hospital? His husband is interested in his wife's welfare. Not always.
The value that you have for A actually borrows the value from B. You don't value A at all without B. It has to terminate somewhere.
King of Hearts.
You see, when you ask why something happens, how does a person answer why something happens?
Like every system, at the base of every system is a presupposition. That's because you don't know everything. And because you don't know everything, that means that whatever you do has to be predicated on some presuppositions, right? I mean, you have to take a leap of faith at some point.
One would think there needs to be a bottom card. The bottom card is
the first cause, the first mover, the life force, the universal mind, the first principle, the unmoved mover, even providence. I too had used those names in arguing with others and with myself, trying to explain the world to myself. And now I saw that those names explained nothing. They were of no more use than evolution, or natural selection, or nature, or the Big Bang of those later days. All such names do is catch us within the length and breadth of our own thoughts and our own bewilderment. Though I knew the temptation of simple reason, to know nothing that can't be proved, still I suppose that those were not the right names. I imagine that the right name might be
Santa.
Santa.
Isn't he the king of the North Pole?
You mean this guy? What exactly is your persuasion on the big man, since you brought him up?
Well,
Lickety-clack, down the track comes the O-scale Pennsylvania train by famous Lionel. With puffing smoke, a bright headlight, and an authentic-sounding air whistle.
Sounds to me like this is your crucial year. If I were you, I would think about climbing on board.
There are, however, also people who disbelieve in God, not out of resistance, or stubbornness, or a hardened heart, but rather... due to sheer lack of conviction. Indeed, many such people actively want to be convinced of God's existence and would jump at the chance of entering into a relationship with him if they thought that he did. But no matter how hard they search...
Pulling a tender boxcar tanker...
I've tried to believe in Jesus for 2 years, but I can't. I fear I'm beyond saving. What can I do?
The question, then, is there such a thing as non-resistant non-belief, a non-resistant non-believer?
But faith is not necessarily, or not soon, a resting place. Faith puts you out on a wide river in a little boat.
The simplest explanation for religious belief is best understood in neurobiological terms.
The consciousness
Can you
of
tell me,
everything.
please, which way should I go?
That depends on where you want to
Is
go.
to somehow be sort of desiccated, dry, to miss out on the magic and mystery.
I mean, it's just the exact opposite of the truth.
You know, when you lose Santa Claus, what you get in his place is not as fun.
What should I be doing differently? What could I possibly have done differently given the course of my life?
You know, the sight of your parents maxing out their credit cards and wrapping presents in their pajamas
Unless I'm not
is not as consoling as the elves and the sleigh and the 8 tiny reindeer. And religion provides an answer for
They
that.
must have seen me.
In the fog, in the dark. Even a man of faith knows that we've all got to go through enough to kill us.
It's an unjustified answer. It's a bad answer.
What is not dry and desiccated is coming into the world, as it were, awakening in the world and seeing the universe, seeing the stars.
As a man of faith, I've thought a considerable amount about a friend of mine I call the man in the well.
Go home. It's too late. It's too late.
No! It's not too late.
The now wooded or re-wooded slopes and hollows hereabouts are strewn with abandoned homesteads, the remains of another kind of world.
I don't even know where I am, but I do have to get someplace.
If you just want to get someplace, just keep going.
What you find now in those places are the things that were built of stone. Foundations, cellars, chimneys, and wells. Sometimes the well is the only structure remaining, and there will be no visible sign of it. It will be covered with old boards in some stage of decay, green with moss or covered with leaves. It is a perfect trap. Now imagine a hunter, somebody from a city some distance away, who has a job he doesn't like and who has come alone into the country to hunt on a Saturday. It is a beautiful, perfect fall day, and the man feels free. He has left all his constraints and worries and fears behind. Nobody knows where he is. Anybody who wanted to complain or accuse or collect a debt could not find him. The morning that started frosty has grown warm. The sky seems to give its luster to everything in the world. The man feels strong and fine. His gun lies ready in the crook of his arm, though he really doesn't care whether he finds game or not. He has a sandwich and a candy bar in his coat pocket. And then, not looking where he's going, which is easy enough on such a day, he steps onto the rotten boards that cover one of those old wells, and down he goes.
If something interferes with one of your plans, if something unexpected happens, you just switch to another plan. All right? But if something interferes with a more fundamental presupposition, like who you are, where you're going, then this whole thing can come crumbling down, That's represented here, and this is transformational. How conception A can turn into conception B, which is to say that people's belief systems will shift radically. He's down here, everything's gone chaotic. He said, I don't know who I am anymore. And that happens to people, you know. Then you have to reevaluate your whole past and your present and your future. Your whole story shifts. Everything changes. And maybe you can do that, or maybe you cut your throat. Because that happens to people too when everything falls down.
He falls so quick that he doesn't have time to ask what is happening. He hits water, goes under, comes up, swims, or clings to the wall, inserting his fingers between the rocks. And now I think you cannot help imagining the way it would be with him. He looks up and sees how far down he has come. The sky that was so large and reassuring only seconds ago is now just a small blue picture of itself, far away. His first thought is that he's alone, that nobody knows where he is. These two great pleasures that were his freedom have now become his prison, perhaps his tomb. He calls out, and he hears himself, enclosed within the sound of his own calling voice. How does this story end? Does he save himself? Is he athletic enough, maybe, to get his boots off and climb out, clawing with fingers and toes into the grudging holds between the rocks of the wall? Does he climb up and fall back? Does somebody, in fact, for a wonder, chance to pass nearby and hear him? Does he despair, give up, and drown? Does he, despairing, pray finally the first true prayer of his life?
Looks like one of those old time machines in the comics. It's called the imagination.
Whether you really believe in God or not. So let's just get it on the table. Do you believe in God?
I started giving some consideration, I guess, to the old philosophical distinction between fact and value.
I want to believe. But
you don't want to be bamboozled.
Value, and you could say value, well, that's kind of in the domain of what should be. And
you don't want to be led down the primrose path. You don't want to be caught or duped, have the wool pulled over your eyes, hoodwinked. You don't want to be taken for a ride, railroaded.
Fact, well, that's kind of in the domain of what actually is, or what was, or what could be.
To be able to accept the structure of existence, the suffering that goes along with it, and the disappointment and the betrayal.
That everyone who is believing.
It's long been known in philosophical circles that you can't draw any conclusions about what should be, what ought to be, from an analysis of what is, which is to say you can't derive an ought from an is.
And to nonetheless act properly, right? To aim at the good with all your heart, right? To dispense with the malevolence and your desire for destruction and revenge and all of that.
Literally, who is believing in him. So it's literally hina pasa stuo.
What you have in the figure of Christ is an actual person who actually lived, plus a myth, and in some sense Christ is the union of those two things. And to face things courageously and to tell the truth, to speak the truth and to act it out. That's what it means to believe.
That everyone who is believing, eis auton, in him, me apoletai, will not perish.
And I don't understand it. Because I've seen sometimes the objective world and the narrative world touch. You know, we have a narrative sense of the world. For me, that's been the world of morality. That's the world that tells us how to act. It's real. We treat it like it's real.
This analysis sort of suggests that there's no such thing as a belief system. Is that at the very minimum, a belief system is composed of two elements, which is your description of how the world is from the factual perspective, and also your description of how the world should be.
It's not the objective world, but the narrative and the objective world touch. And the ultimate example of that, in principle, is supposed to be.
So at the very least, when you talk about beliefs, you talk about something that has two constituent elements.
Is found in the place where the mind and the heart unite. Where is that?
We know how to come up with a description of the world from the sensory perspective that everyone can dream of. More or less. Okay. That isn't what we fight with people over, though. What's important to us is not what things are so much as what they mean.
Seeing is believing. Am I right?
But what about this train?
What about it?
We're all really going to the North Pole, aren't we?
Aren't we?
Are you saying that this is all just a dream?
You said it, kid! Not me. So, let's go find that girl! One other thing. Do you believe in ghosts? Interesting.
Wait! Wait! Wait!
There is a light that includes our darkness, a day that shines down even on the clouds. A man of faith believes that the man in the well is not lost. He does not believe this easily or without pain, but he believes it. His belief is a kind of knowledge beyond any way of knowing. He believes that the child in the womb is not lost, nor is the man whose work has come to nothing, nor is the old woman forsaken in a nursing home in California. He believes that those who make their bed in hell are not lost, or those who dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, or the lame man at Bethesda's pool, or Lazarus in the grave, or those who pray, Ali, Ali, lama sabachthani, have mercy.
Molly have one, brother have one. That was nice family music from.
Who's it from? Santa. Santa? Really? Oh, that's too bad.
What's this? I said, we will make it. She said, hey, let's go for it. So we ended up down here and at the end of the road in these woods down here. And basically all I do is fish the river and I build duck calls.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Do you now believe in God? Now?
Broken. Huh. Sorry about that, sport.
Difficult to answer.
They're seating near the front. The concert begins at 5. It'll be Mozart.
At one time, most of my friends could hear the bell. But as years passed, it fell silent for all of them.
Well, just a nice, if heaven exists, to know that there's laughter. That would be a great thing. Oh, yeah. Just to hear God goes, 2 Jews walk into a bar.
Though I've grown old, the bell still rings for me.
So you're thinking deep thoughts while you swing?
Nope. It's kind of funny, but I've discovered that when I stop thinking about my problem is often when